you woke up tomorrow in a fantasy world, what's the first thing you'd do?
Honestly, check if I have health insurance.
Yes, because everyone's talking about, oh, I got a cheat skill or I'm going to join the Adventurers Guild, but nobody's asking the real questions. What's the mortality rate? Is there a functional government? Can I afford rent?
Exactly. Like Shield Heroes World has literal apocalypse waves every few weeks. That's not a vacation. That's a nightmare insurance claim waiting to happen.
Right? So today we're doing something different. We're appraising isekai worlds like insurance adjusters. Survival rates, economic stability, healthcare systems, the whole package.
If you're going to get hit by a truck, you deserve to know what you're getting into.
Truck-kun doesn't come with a benefits package.
So stick around because we're about to save your life. Hypothetically.
Or at least help you make an informed decision before signing that reincarnation contract. Welcome to another Side Quest podcast, A Detour Worth Taking. I'm AJ.
And I'm Sky. And today, we are your isekai insurance brokers. We're evaluating different anime isekai worlds based on actual livability. Not how cool the magic system is, not whether you get a harem. We're talking survival probability, economic opportunity, and quality of life. Because here's the thing, most isekai protagonists have insane plot armor. They're destined heroes with cheat abilities. But what if you're just you? Regular person, no special skills, average stats?
Exactly. What are your chances? That's what we're figuring out today.
We're looking at 5 different isekai worlds, rating them on a scale from basically a death sentence to actually, this might be okay.
And we're starting with the harsh truth. Most isekai worlds would absolutely murder you within a week.
Yeah, we're not sugarcoating this. Some of these worlds are hostile.
So let's break down our rating system, then we'll dive into specific examples.
Okay, so our insurance appraisal looks at 5 key factors. First up, base survival rate. This is like, can you survive just existing as a normal citizen?
In some worlds, random monster attacks are just Tuesday. That's going to affect your rating.
Second factor, economic accessibility. Can you get a job? Is there a functional economy? Or is it like medieval feudalism where you're born a peasant and die a peasant?
Third, healthcare and safety nets. Is there healing magic? Can you afford it? What happens if you break your leg?
Fourth, social mobility. Can you actually improve your situation? Or are you locked into a class system or adventurer rank that's impossible to climb?
And fifth, existential threat level. Is the world about to end? Are there demon lords? Apocalyptic waves? Because that really tanks your long-term prospects.
Right. Like you could have great healthcare, but if the world's ending in 6 months, your premiums aren't worth it.
Exactly. So with that framework, let's look at our first world. ReZero.
Oh no. Oh, this is bad.
Yeah, ReZero is like, if you're Subaru, you have return by death, so you get infinite retries. But if you're a normal person, you're just dead. Permanently.
The survival rate for average citizens is actually terrible. The world has spirit beasts, witch cultists, random bandits, and the royal selection is basically a civil war waiting to happen.
Plus, the economy is super feudal. You're either nobility, merchant class, or you're struggling. There's no middle-class opportunity.
Healthcare is interesting, though. They have healing magic, but it's expensive and rare. Felix is one of the best healers in the kingdom, which tells you there aren't many.
Social mobility is nearly impossible unless you have a powerful patron. And the existential threats? The witch cult, the great rabbit, Satella potentially destroying everything.
Yeah, this world gets a 2 out of 10 for livability. Beautiful architecture, but you're probably dying horribly.
The tourism board would hate this review. Visit Luganica. You'll probably be cursed.
Okay, next up, and this might surprise people, Overlord.
Ooh, controversial choice. Because if you're in the Sorcerer Kingdom under Ainz,
It's actually not that bad. Hear me out. If you're a citizen of Ainz's domain, you have protection from one of the most powerful beings in the world.
you might be onto something here. The survival rate within his kingdom is surprisingly high. He actually maintains order, provides security, and has functioning infrastructure.
The economy is stable. He's literally running it like a modern nation state with undead labor handling the dangerous work.
Healthcare is, well, there's resurrection magic, but that's for valuable people. But they do have healing potions and organized medical care.
The catch is you have to be inside the Sorcerer Kingdom. If you're anywhere else in that world, you're in one of the kingdoms Ainz is about to steamroll.
Right, the existential threat is whether Einst decides your nation is inconvenient, which is significant.
Social mobility is interesting. Ainz actually promotes based on merit because he's from a gaming background. He doesn't care about human nobility.
So if you're a Sorcerer Kingdom citizen, you're looking at maybe a 6 out of 10. If you're anywhere else, 1 out of 10, you're getting turned into an undead experiment.
Yeah, location is everything in Overlord.
All right, let's look at a world that seems nice on the surface but has hidden problems. Ascendance of a Bookworm.
Oh, this is fascinating because it looks so cozy, right? It's about books and commerce and
And the disease rate is catastrophic. Childhood mortality is like 30%, and there's a rigid class system enforced by actual magic.
yeah, the survival rate for commoners is rough. The devouring kills kids. Common illnesses that we'd cure with antibiotics are death sentences, and nutrition is terrible.
But the economy is actually functional. There's trade, there's currency, there are guilds. If you can survive childhood, you can make a living.
Healthcare is the big problem. Healing magic exists, but it's controlled by the nobility and the church. If you're a commoner, you're using medieval remedies.
Social mobility is nearly impossible unless you have the devouring and become a noble. The class system is enforced by mana capacity. It's literally biological.
Existential threats are low, though. No demon lords, no apocalypse. Just societal inequality and disease.
I'd give this a 4 out of 10. If you're born noble, it jumps to 7. But as a commoner, you're probably dying of something preventable.
It's the most realistic medieval world, which is exactly the problem.
Now let's talk about a world that's actually pretty decent. Delicious in Dungeon.
Oh, Dungeon Meishi. Okay, so this world has functional infrastructure.
Right? There's an international economy, multiple nations, trade routes, and the dungeon itself is regulated with adventurer guilds and resurrection services.
The survival rate for average citizens is actually good if you stay out of the dungeon. Towns are safe, monsters are contained, there's law and order.
And if you do go in the dungeon, there's literally resurrection magic available as a service. You can buy insurance for dungeon diving.
Haha, actual isekai insurance. They thought of it.
The economy is great. Multiple currencies, functioning governments, trade networks. You can be a shopkeeper, a craftsman, whatever.
Healthcare is solid. Healing magic exists and seems accessible. Plus, the dungeon creates economic opportunity for everyone, not just adventurers.
Social mobility is realistic. You can change professions, start businesses, move up through skill, and the existential threat, the dungeon, is actually being managed.
Until the ending stuff happens. But we won't spoil that. For most of the story, this is an 8 out of 10 world.
Yeah, if you're going to be isekai'd somewhere, this is actually not bad. Just don't be an adventurer unless you're confident in your cooking skills.
Pfft. Ha. Sorry, I can't identify edible monsters. Guess I'll starve.
And finally, let's look at the gold standard, Mushoku Tensei.
Oh, Mushoku Tensei is complicated.
Super complicated, because the survival rate varies wildly by region. The Boreas region is relatively safe, but the Demon Continent? You're dodging death constantly.
But the economy is functional. There's international trade, adventurers' guilds, magic item commerce. You can definitely make a living.
And healthcare is good if you can afford magic healing. There are healers for hire, but it's expensive. And there are actually doctors, not just healers.
Social mobility exists. Rudeus literally goes from disgraced noble child to internationally respected mage. So you can build reputation and wealth.
But here's the thing. The existential threats are constant. Turning points, the teleportation incident, political conflicts, the eventual war with Hirogami.
Yeah, this world is actively chaotic. Something catastrophic is always about to happen.
I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It's livable, there's opportunity, but you need skills or connections to really survive long term.
And you better hope you're not in the wrong place when a turning point happens.
Sorry, you got randomly teleported to the demon continent. Claim denied.
Okay, so looking at all these worlds, what are the actual patterns we're seeing?
Great question. First pattern. Healing magic exists in most isekai, but accessibility is the real issue. It's almost always expensive or restricted.
Which mirrors real world healthcare problems. Honestly, just because the technology exists doesn't mean you can afford it.
Second pattern, rigid class systems are everywhere. Medieval style nobility, adventurer ranks, mana capacity determining your social position.
Social mobility is the exception, not the rule. Most isekai worlds lock you into your starting position.
Third, the existence of functional government makes a huge difference. Worlds with actual infrastructure and law enforcement are way more survivable.
Yeah, like Dungeon Meshi has the Golden Kingdom actually governing, versus Re Zero, where Lugunica is barely holding together.
And fourth, this is important, existential threats tank everything. Doesn't matter how good your healthcare is if the demon lord is destroying countries.
Right? Long term survival requires long term stability. If the world's ending, your 5-year plan is worthless.
So if we're ranking overall livability, I think Dungeon Meshi takes top spot, followed by Overlord if you're in the Sorcerer Kingdom, then Mushoku Tensei if you're in a safe region.
Bookworm is middle tier because of disease, and Re Zero is bottom tier unless you have return by death.
Which you won't because you're not the protagonist.
Exactly. That's the whole point. We're evaluating these for normal people.
And honestly, that's what makes this so fun. We spend so much time thinking about power fantasies, but the world-building details are what matter for actual living.
Yeah, like I don't care if I can learn fireball magic if I can't afford bread.
Congratulations, you're a mage. You're also starving because spell components cost a fortune.
Real talk though, this makes you appreciate isekai that actually think about their economics and society.
For sure. Bookworm and Dungeon Meshi world build so thoroughly that you can actually analyze them like this. They feel like real places.
Versus power fantasy isekai, where the economy is just defeat monsters, get gold, with no thought about where that gold comes from.
Or why killing monsters generates currency at all.
Yeah, the wolf had 50 gold pieces in its stomach, somehow.
Okay, so practical. If you're watching this and you're about to get isekai'd,
Ahaha, as one does.
first, assess the healthcare situation immediately. Can you afford healing? Is there divine magic? Are there actual doctors?
Second, understand the class system. Are you locked in or can you move up? Because that determines your entire future.
Third, find out about existential threats. Is there a demon lord? Apocalypse countdown? Because you need an exit strategy.
Fourth, evaluate the economy. Can you actually make money? Is there inflation? What's the trade situation?
And fifth, this is crucial, figure out if there's resurrection magic and whether you can afford it.
Because in some worlds, death is just expensive. In others, it's permanent. That's a pretty important distinction.
Ha! Yeah. Oops, sorry, you can't afford the resurrection fee. Should have read the fine print.
Honestly, if I had to choose, I'm going with Dungeon Meshi's world. Good food, functioning economy, resurrection available.
Same. I'll just stay out of the dungeon and open a restaurant on the surface. Let other people risk their lives.
Yep. Welcome to above ground cooking, where nobody tries to eat us.
Perfect business model. Though I'd also consider Overlord if I could get Sorcerer Kingdom citizenship. Security is pretty good.
Fair, but you're living under a skeletal overlord who might turn you into an experiment if you're inconvenient.
That's just job insecurity with extra steps.
Sorry, the boss literally consumed my soul. I can't make it to the meeting.
But yeah, the big lesson here is that world building matters. Details about healthcare, economy, and society make these worlds feel real.
And it's way more interesting than just this world has cool magic. Like, yeah, but can you eat?
Exactly. Power fantasy is fun, but survival logistics are fascinating.
And that's what makes deep isekai analysis so good. You start asking questions the protagonists never think about.
All right, that's our deep dive into isekai insurance. If you enjoyed this ridiculous analysis, please hit that subscribe button.
We're going to do more episodes like this, weird analytical angles on anime and manga that nobody asked for, but everybody needs.
Drop a comment telling us which isekai world you'd want to live in and why, or which world we should appraise next.
And if you think we missed something important in our analysis, let us know. We love getting into the weeds with you all.
You can also let us know what other topics you want us to cover. We're here for weird deep dives and nerdy debates.
Thanks for hanging out with us on this side quest.
Until next time, stay safe, read the terms and conditions, and maybe don't accept rides from mysterious trucks.
Hey, Truck-kun is not your friend.
This has been another SideQuest podcast, a detour worth taking. I'm AJ.
And I'm Sky.